Hello and welcome to another episode of A Pint Perspective, Green King's Inclusion podcast. My name is Gary Clark Strange, my pronouns are he, him, and I am the host today for our conversation with the fantastic Kathryn. Welcome to A Pint Perspective.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You?
Good, I'm really good, thank you. And I'm really looking forward to having this conversation with you. We've got a lot of ground to cover. We've got some good topics to talk about today. But I guess to get us started, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
So my name's Kathryn. I've worked for Green King for just over 2 years now. I work in the comms team, so I work within Green King pubs. Outside of work, I am a massive fan of Strong Woman, which I think we're going to talk about in a little bit, and how that links to work as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, we definitely are going to talk about your interest in Strong Woman quite a lot, because I think it's really, from the conversation I've had with you, a really interesting story of how you can overcome challenges that we face in life and in work and use that as a way to help ourselves in different situations. So you've been here for 2 years.
Yeah.
You're working in a communications role.
Yeah.
And you're coming from a point of view of also being part of a really interesting program that we've just finished at Green King that you're a part of, which is reverse mentoring. So in that program, you were a mentor for one of our senior leaders.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how that was. How was the experience for you?
It was really interesting. From my point of view, I am she, her. So I was talking about my experience as a female in business.
Yeah.
A lot of the experiences were from companies that are not Green King, and how people have made me feel where you weren't listened to, or you were asked to do menial tasks like, can you go get the tea because you are the only female in the room? The person that I was mentoring was Mark, who was really engaging. He was really interested in what I had to say, and I felt like I had a voice, that what I said was important, and like I made a difference as well. We touched on some really good topics. So being put in a box, how the prejudice wheel works, and how that made us feel. So I found it really interesting. But again, it was all that we're being put in a box. I'm stereotyped because I am this, I am that. And how to overcome that. And that it was okay that you were in this position. You might be at the centre of that wheel, because of that's how it is. That doesn't mean that you haven't worked hard to be in that place. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you've got that job because you are this person. It's just one of them things. It made you aware of it, but it's okay.
It's so interesting to hear you. So I've known you for quite a while, and the word that actually we've mentioned already, because of you talking about doing Strong Woman, is strong is the word that just surrounds my, I guess, opinion of you. But then hearing you saying there about, working with other companies and, the experiences of being told to go get the tea. I mean, that I just can't see that. Maybe that's made you who the person you are today. I don't know. No, I don't think it has. Okay.
I think it's that sport that's made me that. I was the girl that if there was more than 2 people in the room, I would turn the other way. I didn't want people to look at me. I was like, I don't belong here. There was very much an imposter syndrome. Okay. But when I started competing, I was green. I was absolutely green the first time I competed, and I've met some great friends along the way. That it's a niche sport, but it's such a good sport, and I've got some really good friends, and I now get on stage and I'm like, look at me, I am here, I belong here, watch me.
So there's your strength.
And that's where it's come from. One of my first comps, one of the men that were competing, they brought the daughters along, and honestly, I've never forgotten this, and he turned around and said, it's so good seeing women do this. I've brought my children along, and they weren't 10, they were really young children. And he said, I can teach them to be whatever they want to be. And I've never forgotten that. Wow. And I look at people that I'm really pleased to call my friends, like Rebecca Roberts, there's Rhiannon Lovelace, etc. They are such strong women, and they're telling little girls that there wasn't people like that when I was a child, going, you can be what you want. You can be what you want. I can come into work now and I've got that confidence to go, I can be that I want. I don't have to be the person that gets the tea, or I don't have to accept that you're going to ignore me because I'm female or what. I've got this new confidence, and that's the power of sport.
So, well, I'm loving the confidence. Absolutely keep bringing it.
Sometimes you don't.
No, I do. But I guess, so I admittedly don't know a lot about the art and sport of strong women. So can you tell us a bit about it?
If it's awkward, you lift it up. So pub world kegs, okay. I will throw them over my head, or some people toss them. I haven't got to a comp where you toss them yet.
So hang on, you would actually go to a competition and toss the keg. It's not just weights.
It's not just weights. It's awkward. Or I'll carry them. I've done one where I've carried kegs before and then carried them up steps. So when they're going, they could be 30k. I'm like, that's warm up weight. So it's basically, if it's awkward and heavy, then you're going to lift it and move it.
What got you into that?
Another very strong woman. I was in the gym just doing normal gym work, and they were doing it in the corner. Someone I'm proud to call a friend, Claire Myler, who is over 50 and is still one of the strongest people I know, and got 2 medals at World's Strongest Woman. Wow. So she is incredible. And she's just encouraging. She just encourages people. She's like, I can encourage other women to do this. And it doesn't, I'm not sort of turning my light out. I'm just encouraging other people to do it. So her attitude is infectious.
Okay, so that inspired you to get into it. And how do you get into something like this? I mean, as I kind of said, it's not a everyday sport, I don't think.
I don't know. It's just fun. And then I've got a group of friends around me now who all do it, and they are my confidant, and I can turn around and I can talk to them about work, I can talk to them about anything, and I've just got this network of people that just encourage me, and it's just fun.
And I guess the growth of women's sport, you look at the England football team, for example, but I mean women's football teams around the world in general are so growing in popularity. What does that do for you now, getting really involved in this world, which I don't think, from what I'm hearing, was something you would have predicted you would get so involved in?
I would never have predicted it, but I'm not a football fan.
Okay.
I lean on other people in my team when there's football things that are much better. I understand Chelsea because of my boss now, so I can tell you a lot about Chelsea Football Club. But
seeing the narrative, I guess, in the media must give you...
It's amazing. And the female football team has given so much to other sports. So you see... Emily Campbell, who's an Olympic weightlifter, she's on adverts now. That would never have happened. You've got the women's rugby, the union and the league. So when the Rugby League World Cup was on, not just the women's, but the 2 disability teams got paid the same as the men's team. Mm-hmm. That's unheard of. That's
a massive change to get that equality and equity happening right there.
We're not there yet. There was a story today with World Rugby, how they explained how men and women think differently and how you coach them differently. It got pulled rather quickly, but it's still there. It's not perfect. You go on social media, the hate is still there. In my sport, it's you look like a man, you fake weights, you're not good enough, a man could do that better. Football, you just go on social media, the hate's still there.
Okay.
So
how does that affect you?
It doesn't affect me.
Okay.
But it affects other people. Children are seeing this.
Yeah.
People that are possibly not as confident as me might be seeing that. You're fixing that narrative that women aren't good enough, and it's not true. And you've got more and more people coming out and going, that's not okay. And Green King as a place, we're saying, we're going to show women's sport. We're going to advertise women's sport. We're going to do more about it. It's so important that we've got safe space. And that safe space at head office as well.
Okay.
I definitely feel supported by not just my female colleagues, but my male colleagues as well.
Well, the way to change it is for everybody to be involved in it. It's so interesting hearing you talk, because this power and strength that you have, but when you get deeper down in there, that's, you know, I can see that hasn't always been there, but is now coming, you know, much a bigger part of you. So I guess if we were to kind of reflect a little bit before you started doing Strong Woman, what was Kathryn like?
Quiet.
Okay.
Which nobody would agree with.
Let me be clear. That's not what I would have expected.
And if you
the first time I met you, you bound into a room with a bundle of energy, which was just incredible.
Yeah, there's very much, and I still go into places now, and it's very much that fake it till you make it. So there's quite often instances, if there's new people in the room, I'm probably less comfortable than if I was meeting you, because I know you so well. But it's giving me that confidence to go, I can do this. I know what I'm talking about, and giving myself that confidence to go, you belong here. Old me would have been quiet, sat in the corner, wouldn't not argue, that's the wrong word, wouldn't put my point across. I'd just go with the flow. Yeah. So it's definitely giving me the confidence, and it's giving me the confidence to go, this is where I am, this is where I want to be, and starting that career progress of where I want to go as well.
And talking about career progress, I guess, so, you know, there is a lot of change happening in hospitality as an overall. It's amazing to see. Where do you see your, you know, where's the opportunities for you right now in this industry to grow, or where do you think there might be barriers still in existence for a female in general? You know, is there still barriers in this industry?
There probably is. I don't find it within Green King pubs. I've got an amazing role model in Claire Preston Veer. She's champions. She doesn't just champion myself and females, she champions everyone, but it gives me the confidence to look at her and go, well, she can do it. There's no glass ceiling. Not saying that's the case everywhere. Yeah. I can only speak from Green King pubs. I come from retail. It feels a lot more hostile in retail. Just feels like a very different environment. Okay. So I'm quite pleased to come into retail, to hospitality. Sorry.
How important are role models then to you?
Massive. I think role models are important to everyone, and it's not a case of that person that goes first completes that journey, but every time somebody makes that step forward,
it's those small
gains. So yeah, it is important to see people that you can look up to in those roles and go, well, they're there. If I wanted to do it, because, you know, not everybody wants to be in that role, but if I want to do that, what's stopping me? So it's really important. You know, you look outside of work and you see people that are in prominent figures in government or in news, you know, all those different places, and you say, oh, first female to do this, and you're like, wow, I could do that. It's happening, and it's not going to happen overnight. I'm not asking for it to happen overnight. I'm also not asking for me to be chosen over somebody else just because I'm female or just because I am this, that, or the other. I want to be chosen because I'm the best person. Yeah,
that's inclusion. Because you're allowed to be the best version of you, but also you're being selected because of you.
Yeah, 100%. But I want to be looked at as if I am assertive, I'm not shown as aggressive. You know, that there's all those words that people go, well, if you're that, you get done that. Don't tell me to smile more. It's just how I look. You know? It's all those little things. Don't look at me because I'm female that I've got children. I don't have children. So telling me about your children policies, great.
But it's not for you.
It flows over me, but it's important that I know that they're there, both for my female and male colleagues, because don't forget, inclusion means that if you have children, you can go off and go to nativity as well as the female colleague or whatever it is. So, it's inclusion.
There was something you said there, and so like, I guess what I'm hearing is probably some feedback maybe you've been given over the time of, you know, smile more or act in this manner. Like, have people said that to you?
Not to me directly, but it has been, you know, I have heard people say that. It's,
Okay.
again, you look at social media and you go, well, she'd be pretty if she smiled. Or...
Do you think that would happen for a male?
I don't think it would. I
Okay.
think it'd be like concentrating, or, you know, you've got your serious face on.
Yeah,
You know,
they're allowed
I'm
to be
just,
serious.
I'm just thinking. I can't smile and think at the same time.
Yeah. One of the things you talked about there was, again, about kind of role modeling and doing that. Is that why you wanted to be part of today? Is this, you know, what you're trying to do by sharing your story of strength? Like, we've not gone into a lot of the conversation today about, you know, some of the adversity you've come through, but is that why you're doing this? Are you trying to encourage others to, I guess, have this inner strength that you've now found?
Yeah, probably, to say it's okay. You know, you find your strength from wherever you find your strength.
It doesn't have to be in Strong Woman.
It doesn't have to be. I mean, if you want to, I will quite happily teach you. But yeah, it doesn't have to be in sport. It could be. I know we've had a conversation where sometimes that's our de-stressor as well from the day.
100%.
It's sometimes my thinking place. If I'm stuck on a problem, I'll go and I'll be like, oh, I could just do that.
Yeah.
So for me, that's my strength, but that doesn't have to be everybody's strength. But it's finding that inner confidence and that inner strength to go, my opinion is worth something, my thought process is worth something. Because at the end of the day, if you're keeping quiet, you could have something that saves us thousands, improves a customer journey, is an environmental change. You know, there's so many people.
Yeah.
And you might be thinking a completely different way to everybody else, and it might be the way that is the right answer.
And if you go back to the conversation you said right at the start of this episode around, you know, well, as the female, I'm just seen as the person to go and get the tea, that is potentially getting rid of those, you know, amazing thoughts, ideas you could bring to the table. I sit here and say, I hope we've moved on from that mentality, but I can definitely think of times in the past where I have seen, you know, people refer to a female in a group, you know, they're the people who do, you know, when we need a birthday present sorting, it's the female in the group. They'll go and do that, you know, and that's, I don't know if it's changed enough.
Even home life, I can tell you that I was the one that sorted out birthday presents, Christmas presents. I was the one that planned, if we're going away, I have the plans, I do this, I do that.
Why do you think that was?
I think I kind of enjoy it a little bit, which is part of it, and that's okay.
That's okay.
If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I think it was just kind of, it was expected a little bit.
Yeah, okay, expected of you as a female to be able to do it. There's so many different angles I want to go to around, and it's all coming out of this vision of you in Strong Woman and the power that you are getting from that. But there was something you kind of alluded to earlier on, which is, you know, around, and I'm going to, this isn't the term I want to use, like, you know, it's an over-aggression. There was some wording you used earlier on about people's expectation of you. How do you, now that you're bringing this true, strong version of yourself to the workplace, how do you make sure that you feel comfortable with everybody else around you when you are being this newer version of you?
I have a strong network around me at work.
Yeah.
And I have people that are not afraid to give me feedback, which is really important. And don't be afraid to ask for feedback. We call them honest conversations or brave conversations, and they're really important. And to grow, you need to know what you're doing well and what you can improve on as well.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've had a conversation about is the power of yet, and it's stuck with me so much.
Tell me
and
more.
I do this in the gym as well. So I don't understand. I can't do that. I don't get it. It's quite negative, and I used to be very quick to go, I don't get it. How's that going to work? So it's changing that mindset. It's, I can't do that yet. So that would be like, I can't lift that yet.
Yeah.
Or I don't understand that yet. Can we have some time to go through it so I can understand it in some more detail? And it's just changing that negative into a positive and going, I want to learn. Can you teach me?
Which is so interesting when you think about, so you're talking about, you know, the strength training that you're doing as part of Strong Woman. It's totally acceptable for you not to be able to do it today yet.
Yes.
But you'll persevere and you'll train hard and you'll get there. But I think sometimes expectations, and it's not just on females, but definitely when I observe females in a very male dominated environment, that yet piece is not actually truly acceptable. You have to be trying to always be perfect. And the freedom to use that word, which is not going to leave me now, you said it, you hadn't shared that with me before, is around that word yet. It's okay to not know everything. And it's like I talk all the time about the importance of inclusion, and it's okay for us not as society to be perfect yet.
Yeah.
But we've got to keep trying harder. And that's part of what today is about, right?
Yeah, it's a journey. If you are perfect in your role, you're in the wrong role.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
And you know what? Maybe you could overlay that into life as well. If you think you have got the perfect life, probably not yet. There's always more we can do. We can keep aspiring to, it doesn't have to be always bigger and better things, just new experiences, new challenges.
Yeah. It's
been so interesting talking to you. I need to someday come and see you in a strong woman competition. I think, you inspire me enough already, but I think it would inspire me even more. To finish off the podcast, if you had, a bit of advice thinking back to somebody like you who was probably that person, like you said, who would be turned around, shy at the gym, but not necessarily just in the gym environment, what advice would you give to somebody to help them to really take some learning from you to grow their confidence to be a better version of themselves?
I would probably say rip that plaster off and do it sooner.
There's nothing else you need to say. That is fantastic. Kathryn, you're a legend. You know that anyway. I love what you do. You're inspiring all the time. And thank you for being part of Pint of Perspective.
Thank you.
Thank you.